So what kind of started off as an absolute joke has turned into a, well, very terrifying future, and I'll let our sissy bitch in charge up here in Canada lay it out for you. I'll just play a little bit of this clip here.
This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our
Can you fucking believe it?
economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change.
Yeah, really? Do you actually know what the Great Reset is? It kind of started off as being sort of a conspiracy theorist sort of thing where they were just going to shut down the entirety of the economy and then reshape it in a much more global aspect. Oh boy, now that I think about it, doesn't that sound like exactly what all of these power hungry assholes that are locking down all the economies around the world are doing? But if you're some head in the sand asshole like RB there, and why is this so bad? It sounds great. Oh yes, because everybody's so concerned with climate change. And let me just fill in stupid Justin Trudeau here. Capitalism was the only thing that was bringing people out of extreme poverty. Just look at the numbers pre-pandemic and what was happening in places like sub-Saharan Africa, where they were experiencing the greatest rate of economic prosperity that they ever have. Yeah, once they kicked out socialism, all of a sudden, yeah, people were coming out of extreme poverty, which the Great Reset is supposed to get rid of. They were doing that faster than anyone projected, and we were supposed to be able to get rid of extreme poverty by 2030, I do believe. So guess what? The lockdowns were never, ever about the virus. It was about implementing this one world government, and I don't like to use these hyperbolic, nebulous terms so boldly, but there's really no other way to explain it. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we're actually looking at here with the Great Reset. Not exactly a uplifting headline that we have here. A look at the fascist agenda behind the Great Reset and the World Economic Forum's, that's what WEF stands for, reboots propaganda. Less than 2 weeks ago, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, managing director called for a new Bretton Woods moment. Meanwhile, the IMF is not the only entity pushing for a Great Reset, as the World Economic Forum and other mainstream entities have been promoting the financial reboot propaganda. The status quo preps for the Great Reset via intense propaganda. 2020 has been a wild ride, obviously. And during the last 10 months, the world moved in lockstep in order to avoid the coronavirus outbreak, and it's done a great job in convincing regular citizens that this is a virus that is going to kill you, contrary to all the evidence out there where you have legitimately more of a concern driving to work every day that you will get into a serious accident than contracting this disease and having it adversely affect you for a long period of time. Oh, but there could be outlying effects, scarring on your lungs. I've yet to see any proof that that happens in widespread fashion. So, I don't know, save your fucking pearl clutching. The Great Reset concept is very similar to George Orwell's famous dystopian novel 1984. Here we go, baby. And some believe that the subject is a borderline conspiracy theory. Well, as much as I don't want to put any stock into anything that Justin Trudeau has to say, he sure is the one who said the words. So, for instance, a website called greatreset.com has been floating around, the web catching people's attention this year. Additionally, a YouTube video published by the Corbett Report offers a guide to the so-called reboot. The Great Reset conversation is also quite topical, and discussions can be found on many social media avenues like Twitter, Reddit, and Facebook. I rarely use all three. So I have heard of this concept before, and like I was saying, it sounded a little bit too hyperbolic, but as soon as we started entering the second wave of lockdowns around the world, yeah, it started to gain a little bit more traction, and especially with old globalist Trudeau hopping right on this bandwagon, I think it's safe to say that we need to be informed on the subject. Likewise, websites with the greatreset.com have sparked intense speculation about a upcoming financial reset, where the global elite forcefully invoke the fourth industrial revolution. The coronavirus measures, coupled with the purported climate change and statistic propaganda, are considered the primers for the Great Reset concept. Guys, if you didn't see, I just scrolled back up to the front. This article was published October 27th. And what else did Trudeau cite in that little clip? He also cited climate change. In fact, the World Economic Forum has been promoting the concept for years, and back in November 2016, the WEF tweeted about 8 predictions for the year 2030. The WEF 2030 prediction tweet describes a world where you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. I can see where they drew the parallels to 1984, because, oh yes, you'll have these extreme weirdos out there. Oh, the only reason that there's suffering in the world is because you have things, and if nobody had things and we can all just share stuff, i.e. communism, we'd all just get along better. Tell me how well communism has worked out, please. And the short clip says that everyone will rent everything they need. That sounds awful. Okay, listen, I put out a bunch of YouTube content here, and I love to interact with everybody who wants to have an intelligent conversation. By all means, feel free. Anything that you'd like to discuss in the comment section. But more importantly, I just like to be myself. I just like to go about my day not having to really deal with anybody. That's why I work for myself. And the concept of having to rely on anybody else, let alone having to rely singularly on the government, sounds like hell on earth. There is nothing that the government hasn't taken over that doesn't perform better than the private sector would run it. Prove me wrong. The prediction quote from the tweet originally stems from a member of the Danish Parliament, Ida Auken. I hope he or she was taking a long walk off a short pier. Ever since the Great Reset hashtag started trending again this week, people have also been responding to the 2016 WEF tweet. Today, the WEF website and its founder, Klaus Schwab, are still heavily promoting this idea. Because you are allowed to promote any sort of, God, can you call this a conspiracy theory anymore? We'll just do it for the sake of the sentence. Leftist conspiracy theories as loud as you want on Twitter, and nobody will bat an eye. You will not get a little fact check on that one. Because in 2016, did Twitter have as much influence as it does on daily life? You guys have to remember that prior to 2016, Twitter's user base was slowly dying, and it wasn't due to anything else that its trajectory and, well, potential death spiral wasn't prolonged out because of nobody other than President Trump having his, well, largest platform be Twitter. So if you really want to strap your tinfoil hat on, maybe Trump's a part of this and he was just using Twitter in order to broadcast all of this out there. But that is a bridge too far for me, in my opinion. And yeah, I wouldn't take that thought seriously whatsoever. Do we aim to get back to where we were before? I don't know. 2019 was pretty fucking great for everybody. Or should we take the opportunity to make society smarter? Not your idea of smarter, which is brainwashing, and greener. I couldn't fucking care less. Tell India and China to do their fair share. How about that if you want to talk about fairer and greener and get humanity off the road to climate catastrophe? See how it's gone from global warming to climate change, and now it's a climate catastrophe. Remember, in An Inconvenient Truth, if you guys are around my age, that was probably something that came out in junior high school? I forget the exact year. Junior high school, and everybody had to see it. He said that there would be no snow on the caps of Mount Kilimanjaro by 2016. I don't know about you guys, but that seems like an awful lot of snow, and that right there says 2020 in my opinion. So I don't want to say that calling something a catastrophe for economic benefit isn't some sort of a grift, but you can draw your own conclusions. The editorial is the subject of Klaus Schwab's book called, oh, he's just trying to sell books, now I get it, COVID-19, The Great Reset. The book describes how the virus disrupted both economic and social infrastructures and what changes will be needed to create a more inclusive, resilient, and sustainable world going forward. I could not think of a more vomit-inducing sentence. Moreover, the publication Time Magazine, which, you know what, is a right-leaning outlet, it's owned by the CEO of Salesforce. We definitely have our fair shake out there in corporate media. Ugh. Has dedicated a lot of time to get its readers to understand the Great Reset as well. Time has partnered with the WEF and hosts a whole section towards the reset idea, similar to the book and WEF's stance. Time's new collection of Great Reset editorials discuss topics like the coronavirus, climate change, and reimagining capitalism. I could not think of anything more atrocious in my life. Capitalism, while it is not perfect, obviously, people, nothing is perfect. It is the only system in the world that has pulled people out of poverty. Okay? Don't come at me with your fucking socialistic utopia. It's never going to happen. Never. Ever. Ever. Corruption always happens at the top. It's never not, and it never will. Oh, but my free things. How about you just fucking work for it? How about that one? How about get off your lazy ass? How about stop complaining about what other people are doing to you, and how about take some personal responsibility for your life? If you're a fat son of a bitch and you have a bunch of health problems, I don't know, how about try walking around? How about take the stairs instead of the fucking escalator? How about that? How about stop eating from the convenience store and take another fucking 50-meter walk and go down to the grocery store and buy something that is green and leafy? But no, I just want free stuff, right? Lazy fuckers. I can't believe this shit. The Time articles are also filled with equality boosterism and environmental destruction cues from the progressive left. Oddly enough, one editorial notes that some segments of society can't make the great leap forward. Oh my god. Remember, you guys have probably heard the term the Great Leap Forward. That's what Mao Zedong in China did, and it only cost, 100 million lives? Yeah, exactly. In regard to the Great Reset, however, the author says the government can rewrite the social contract and provide for as many as possible remains urgent and vital. This is horrifying. Now, I can go ahead and link the rest of this article here, and you can read through it and probably do it with a slack-jawed as I did prior to recording this. And my God, guys, this is not good. Not good for capitalists, for entrepreneurs, people who like personal responsibility. Three things that I definitely hold myself to, and I could not think of a worse future. And you see it. It was all of these little encroaching ideas like, okay, 15 days to slow the spread. Just stay home. We're just going to blitzkrieg this idea on you. You guys can't possibly think about it. This virus is going to come in and kill 2 to 5% of the population. So just lock down 15 days. That's all we're going to need. Oh, okay. Then 15 days turned into 30. And then eventually when the slow I just about said reset again. When the slow opening starts up again, oh, okay, we're going to decide which businesses are essential and which ones are not, and then we're just going to start putting out entrepreneurs. And as soon as you try to go in and restart your business, like say, Nancy Pelosi's hair salon or the gym out there in New Jersey, as soon as they try to open up their businesses, guess what? We're just going to shut them down because you're going to go out there, you're going to kill grandma. And eventually, once we started to get more statistics roll in, yeah, it's only transmittable through airborne particles, which we didn't know from the beginning, and it only became recent knowledge within the past couple of months. So, okay, you guys just have to wear your mask all the time, everywhere, regardless of the idea and the tangible proof that we have that UV light does in fact kill the virus when it's out in the air. But make sure that you wear your mask at all times. And you've probably seen these people in their own vehicles, alone by themselves, wearing their mask. Or I go out for a run every single day. It's my pinned video on my fucking Twitter. I run outside every day, and I come across people who are wearing their mask outside, and I'm the only other person on the fucking road. I don't get it. A lot of people are just soft and want to follow along and don't want to take their own responsibility in figuring out what is best for them. And if you want to live your life like that, that is perfectly fine. Not everybody set out to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody set out to create their own destiny. I don't want to sound like such a downer, but there are leaders and there are followers. And every good leader out there knows when to be a follower and when to be a leader. But some people's minds are just soft, like I was saying. And it's very pernicious when you see a bunch of kids just waiting for the school bus in the morning. They're standing outside. They, stand 6, 10, 15 feet apart if they've got their mom there just yelling, making sure that everybody's perfectly spaced out. Because those are the Stasi. Those are the people that are out there just yelling. There are countless stories out there where people are out in the park and you have these people looking after a group and they think that they're doing the right thing by making sure that there's 6 feet between people and they're making themselves very boisterous and very loud so that you know that they're following the rules. They have this little kick of authoritarianism in them that makes them feel good because they're enforcing the rules or making sure that people are safe. And that's some of the people. And then there's other people that are genuinely trying to protect themselves and their loved ones. And those are the ones who are brainwashed, and they perhaps could see the bright side of this if they looked into the numbers, but they are intentionally difficult to find. And they are underreported for the reason that they want to push the Great Reset. So all the groundwork's been laid. All the tests have been run. And if we think resetting all of the economies around the world is a great idea, do you actually think that China would join in? Do you think that those European Union states wouldn't try to wiggle themselves the best possible deal that they could? Because, okay, as much as I rag on China, you got to understand that the European Union are some pretty shady people. They aren't running death camps by any means, but their globalist outlook is separate but equal. I don't like where this is going. Like I was saying, the groundwork's been laid, the tests have been run. We know that this can be successful if evil people are allowed to make it happen. And we'll go back to that original clip here, because I want to play something that might trigger your ears here from, and not like leftist triggered where you'd be literally shaking, but this will probably make it sink in a little bit better. We're going to build back better by using the Great Reset, folks. If you don't know where that's from, don't know how you found this content. Anyways, guys, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time, and hopefully you can take some time to also take a look at what this Great Reset's all about, because I don't like it. I don't like it one bit, and I'll be doing a few more videos on this, breaking it down, because it is bad, and it doesn't sound great whatsoever. So I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.